Everybody, this is Dream, and we have a huge 15-game slate today for a FanDuel. So let's go ahead and get into it. Before I do, though, can you guys like, comment, and subscribe? And also share the video if you like it. With that said, let's get into the injury report. So for the Wizards, Beal is questionable. For the Hornets, Jr. is questionable. For the Rockets, Fernando and Tater out. Green is probable, and so is Jabari Smith. For Magic, Cole Anthony's out. For the Thunder, Pokovetsky's out. For the Pacers, Duarte's out. For the Suns, Cam Johnson's out. Cam Payne is questionable. For the 76ers, Harden is out. And also Embiid is questionable. For the Bucks, Giannis is probable. For the Hawks, Young is questionable. For the Blazers, Lillard is questionable. Hart and Winslow are probable, and Simmons is doubtful. For the Heat, Hero is questionable. For the Raptors, Siakam is out. For the Bulls, Levine is probable, White is questionable, and Drummond is out. For the Grizzlies, Adams is questionable. For the Knicks, Robinson's out, and Grimes is questionable. For the T-Wolves, Gobert is out. For the Spurs, Collins is questionable. For the Nets, Simmons is questionable, and Kyrie is out. For the Lakers, Beverly is out. For the Jazz, Conley is questionable, Vanderbilt's questionable. And for the Clippers, Wall is out, Leonard is out, Kennard is out, and Jackson is questionable. So there's a lot of injuries. Hopefully we'll get more clarity as the day goes on. You can jump into our Discord. The link is in the description. We're going to have constant updates throughout the day of the injuries for this particular slate. So make sure to jump in there if you want to be able to get that information as fast as possible. With that said, let's get into the guards that we like. First of all, we're going to look at Van Vliet for Toronto. Now, he played really good yesterday at a very similar price point, and he should be able to do similar today. It is a back-to-back, so that is a little bit of a concern, but overall he's been solid this season, and he did play in a couple of back-to-backs already. I think at least one, if not two. I think one actually, where he played fine the second game, and so I expect him to have a big game here, especially with Siakam is out. He's going to have to be a big part of the offense. Then we're going to look at DeAnthony Melton. Now his price point has come up quite a bit, but he's still a decent option here with Harden out. He's going to have to shoot the ball more on the team. Then we're going to look at Tyrese Halliburton for Indiana. Now, he's a little bit too cheap for what he's been doing. He had one bad game, but overall, he is the big part of the offense, and so he is going to take a ton of shots, and he's got a nice plus matchup here to do really well in. Then we have Terry Rozier. His price point has come up a little bit, but he's been good in the few games that he's played this season, and I expect him to have a pretty big game here in this matchup against Washington. Then we're going to look at Klay Thompson. Now, Klay, he does need to play a full complement of minutes for him to pay off here. And as you can see, sometimes he doesn't play that many minutes. So we do need to get, from Steve Kerr that he is going to play a full complement of minutes. If that's the case, he'll be a really good play here. Colin Sexton was really good yesterday, and he'll probably be really good today, especially if some of the guys are out for the Jazz, with Conley being questionable. Hopefully, he'll step in to start, and if that's the case, he's going to be a top-tier play on the speaker slate. Then we're going to look at Brandon Ingram for the New Orleans. He has been playing pretty solid so far this season, and his price is just a little bit too cheap for what he's been doing here on FanDuel. Then Jamal Murray, he's looking really good today, assuming he does play full complement minutes as well. We do need to check on that a little bit. His price is pretty fair, though, for what he's done so far this season. And then Kyle Anderson. Now, he is risky because he is a value play here, but he's been pretty good as a starter in the last game. With Gobert out, he should get some more minutes, and so we'll have to see if he ends up starting. But if he does start, then he'll be an interesting play on this bigger slate simply because of his price point. Then we're going to look at Scotty Barnes here for Toronto. He's going to have to take a lot more shots again with Siakam out. And he did really good yesterday. He's been playing really good just generally in the season. His price has come up some, though, but he's still a good value based on what he's done. Then Giannis, obviously, if he plays, he's going to be a great play. He's been super great every game this season. His price has actually come down slightly, so that does give him some upside, too. And it's a big plus matchup for him against Atlanta. OG Anunoby is another guy for Toronto that who's going to get more minutes as a result of Siakam being out. And as you can see, he's been playing pretty consistent the last 4 games, and his price point is still pretty good here, so I do like him on the slate. Isaiah Hartenstein, is probably one of my favorite cheaper plays. With the fact that he's going to be the starter here, his price has come up some, but he's still a good value play on this particular slate because of the matchup and the situation that he's in. He's going to get full complement of minutes against Minnesota, who's not great at stopping big guys. Miles Turner looks like he's in a really good spot here against New Orleans. He's been extremely boomer bust though, so do keep that in mind. But his price is cheap enough that he'll probably pay off, assuming he can get over 30 minutes. Then Zion Williamson, if he does play, which I think he's probable at this point. Um, he has been pretty solid this season. Now he did cramp up in the last game. That's always the concern with him is that he gets injured super easy. But if he doesn't get injured, he'll definitely pay off. But again, we'll have to check and see how if he's planning to play the full minutes and everything else. And then Porzingis, who was a letdown yesterday, but he had a tough matchup yesterday, so I look for him to bounce back today and have a big game against a substandard team in Charlotte. He does look like his price is a little bit expensive, but he's still playing pretty well when he gets a full complement of minutes. And with that, and if Beal doesn't play, he'll have more upside as well. Then we're going to look at Isaiah Stewart for Detroit. I really do like him today. He's a little bit too cheap for his potential. He's played good in stretches this season, and his price point, when he does look good, he typically does good, and this is a good matchup for him. For Al Horford, he finally figured out how to, I think the last couple games, he's getting more minutes, and he's not fouling as much as he was to start the season. And that's really led to him having better fantasy games, and he's also getting more rebounds and stuff like that. So, assuming he can continue this play, then he's going to be able to pay off at this price point relatively nicely. Then we're going to look at Julius Randle, who's in a nice plus matchup here against Minnesota. He's been really consistent this season, and his price point is still pretty good, so I do like him in this matchup, and he should get plenty of minutes against a team that's not going to be able to do anything against him. And then finally, DeAndre Ayton for Phoenix. Now, he's been inconsistent with the minutes this season, as you can see. But if he can play over 30 minutes, he'll be a top guy that can definitely 5x at this price point, where he just needs 33 fantasy points to 5x. It's just been a matter of him not playing a full complement of minutes. So, with that said, we have a pretty interesting slate here. Obviously, you could pick, 50 players. I try to limit it down a bunch to give you my top overall guys. Overall, I think the slate's going to be very high scoring with this many games. It's hard to think that there wouldn't be like 400-point scoring on FanDuel, so we'll have to see how that goes. But overall, it's a fun slate. There's definitely lots of different ways you can build lineups. I just try to give you the guys I like the most at this point in the day. Make sure to join Discord if you want to get more up-to-date information on injuries and what I'm thinking about. You can ask me questions there. And you can also just ask questions by dropping comments in the description below. If you have anything else to say, feel free to leave that there. And thank you guys for liking, commenting, subscribing, and have a nice day.